Okay, as we look at this, this is pretty bad. Alright, so what I'm going to do here, I'm going to start off trying to clean up one section at a time. And welding this up with new metal here. You know, if you're feeling squeamish, it's because this probably reminds you of a dentist. Alrighty there. She pretty rotted all in here. But I gotta build this whole corner up. And the reason this rotted away is because up on top, where the window sits right in there, it's got a hole up there, and water was getting down, sitting down in here. And then all of this stuff that they have, they had this stuff packed in these corners. There's a lot of it in here. And that stuff, it probably stayed moist for long periods of time. It just stayed moist in there and just caused that to sit there and don't dry. Okay, as you see, I got this piece welded in. So I'm gonna come across here and cut this off, and I'm gonna start trying to fill this in. I'll come back in and get this hole in here. Okay. So now I come in and it looked like it can still, to get this where I want to, it need to come down just a little more. Okay, it's almost there. A little grinding now. Got it close. All right, then I'll come in here and I'm gonna just tack this up. Now, believe it or not, this corner here, they just had seam sealer in here. So I probably will come in and I'll clean this up. I might tack another piece of metal in here to right here. But before, like a lot of places on these cars, they just left open gaps and put seam sealer in there. So I will come across now, weld, cut, get this welded up, and I already put this piece in. I'm gonna tack this piece in, then I come and start here, and then is this out of camera range up here, and then I patch this corner in. So I'm gonna walk you through how I'm doing this, and all I'm doing is just little section by section, little pieces to build all of this, because all of this was rotted loose. Sure, it was solid in here, but all of this, and eventually all that'll do, if you don't strengthen all of this back up, you end up cracking your window. This windshield is already cracked. That's why I'm welding in this area with the windshield in here, because I have no concerns if it cracks in this area, because it's cracked in the middle already when I brought the car. But otherwise, I will pull the windshield out to make sure that none of the heat and whatever, and this wouldn't crack. But if you leave this like this, eventually this pillar is going to start moving and you're going to crack a windshield if you put a new windshield in there. So I'm going to strengthen all of this up and get it where it needs to be. Okay, so now I want to try to get part of this piece in. So this is sticking out a little too far, a little farther than I wanted. So I'm going to grind this down. Okay, so as I was saying, seam sealer will go in a lot of this area, so I'm not really worried about how some of these welds is. And this piece will go right here. Now, I got some polished, and I'm going to show you, it's going to really polish this back. And boy, that piece is gonna look good there. And then whoever do this top, like a lot of times, you know, they might bring the top all the way down here, but I would rather end the top up on the roof line somewhere instead of bringing the top all the way down here. So these areas here, I will make sure that this is cut just right, butt welded in, where you won't see my lines, and because this will be painted and seen. But up under here, I'm not really worried about all of that, so I'm not gonna spend a lot of time trying to have these welds look and grind it out exactly perfect. You know, they'll be flush, but it's just not a critical area for me to be worried about. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna cut across here, and then I'm gonna cut up here, and then I'm gonna come down like that with that piece there. And then I come up here, I round this around and let this connect right here. Now this little buckle right here, I'll take my die grinder, I'm gonna see how bad this is. If this ain't bad, I might bring this in a little closer here. But right now I'm not 100% sure till I put the die grinder on. And like I say, my die grinder is one of my favorite tools since my brother Robert come down that day and he said, hey, I got something for that. Alright, so now I'm going to cut this out and get ready to get this marked up. So all I'm going to be trying to do is show you how to get this section in. Now I'm going to go to the other side, take the recorder to the other side, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to measure off, because this comes down, it got a dentation and it comes up. So I'm going to take you to both sides and show you how I'm going to measure to get the measurements that I need to get this post to look exactly like the other side. Okay, here on the other side, as you see, I got the piece of chrome on there. So what I want to do is measure from the piece of chrome to where this indentation, the dip there, is going to go up onto the pillar, how this pillar is shaped. So I got a 1/2 inch. So I got a 1/2 inch from where this chrome line is in between here. And then what I did is I'm going to measure from the top, find the point that I want to measure, and I want to come down to here. And that's a little, you know, it's around 23.5 on that side. When I come across on this other side, it's a little shy of 25. So I measure to get all of this set up to get it close. I'm just a guy in the backyard, in the garage doing things, so might not be 100% accurate, but it's going to be within, you know, centimeters. It'll just be close to what I'm doing to match all of this up, you know. And an old friend of mine, my sister's boyfriend, Jerry, used to tell me, not Jerry, not the one you see on this channel. Jerry's gone, rest in peace. Called him Dog back in the day. He used to tell me you can only look at one side of the car at a time. So, what can I say about that? Alright, so when I get these measured up, they'll be within centimeters. It'll be close. You won't be able to tell, you know, it's going to be so close. I'm just a guy in the backyard doing this. So, is it going to be 100% accurate? It probably wasn't 100% accurate from the factory. To be honest, a lot of this, you know, the tolerances that they had, sometime when we put these cars back together, and I'm not being 100%, trying to be 100% accurate with this car. It's a big four-door. I like them. You know, my second car was a 77 Buick Electra, 5 years old. I was young with a newer car, you know. But it's not like when I do my Wildcat, I got a 70 Wildcat convertible. When I do that car, I'm going to make sure it's showroom quality. I got a 75 Buick Century that I'm doing, and I call that baby the showstopper. It's got T-tops. You look up 75 Century pace car, you'll see what I'm talking about. I'm going back with the red, white, and blue stripes on the side of it, all up and down the side. My interior is going to be red, white, and blue. The engine is painted red, white, and blue. All up under the bottom, the gas tank, everything is painted red, white, and blue on this car. I'm hopefully going to finish that one up by this time. This is February, well, March. This is like March 1st, 2nd, I don't know. I've been off work, so I don't really keep up with time when I'm off work. I'm a truck driver, so this is just something I do in my pastime, you know. Keeps me out of trouble, keeps me home. But when I do that 77, or else either my Wildcat, it's gonna be done exactly right. But one of my sister boyfriends back in the day, his name was Jerry, we called him Dog. Anybody that might happen to run across this that's from where I am from, Racine, Wisconsin, they will know him. He used to tell me, you can only look at one side of a car at a time. You can only look at one side of the car at a time. So even though this pillar on this side is not routed out, I'm measuring, I'm trying to get it as close as I can, but you'll never know. You can only look at one side of a car at a time. But one thing for sure is that it's going to be welded up, it's going to be solid, and it's going to be good to go. Okay, so what I did here is that I cut this piece a little bigger than what it needs to be. But I'm going to come around and I'm going to trim it down there. And I'm going to hold this rod in place. and I'm going to trim it there. So if you see, I did it where I can get these two to line up, and then the rest, this is going to be a little bigger, so I could tap this over. I could tap this over and get a weld on the here. And then on the back side, I got to cut a piece out on the bottom, and then I attach it to this piece. So if this piece is a little bigger than what I need, that's better than it being too small. Okay, then I'm gonna clean up these edges. Make sure my welds are gonna stick. Okay. So what we got going on here is I just put a tack right on that end. And what I want to do now is hopefully that tack is good enough where I can hold this in place. Can you see that? As you see now, what I did is I got a line there. I can open this up just a little bit like that, and I done found that contour to that panel. So just by me putting that little tack there and grinding down, I don't have to spend all day trying to shape this, because you can't get the pencil really back there to get a perfect mark on this. So then I come in now, I'll open this and I'll put a tack right on the end there. I'm not left-handed, but I'm gonna try to put this tack on here with my left hand. Because of the camera being there, I went left-handed on you guys. It's kind of soft in there. But I'll come back in now and I'll weld all of this in. And then I'll come back and show you how else I'm going to get this in here. Let me tack this up first.